Hi, hope you're doing well. So this video is for students of English or anyone who's writing academic writing in particular, maybe a master dissertation, maybe you're talking about a thesis. So what is the aim of this video? The aim of this video is first to show you how do I think about writing or academic writing in general. How do I approach it? How do I review my papers? And for this, I wanted to share with you a piece of writing. I'm not sure about the project, maybe just for an article, maybe just free writing, but this is something I'm really interested in. So I would start reading, and at the same time, I would like you to focus on ideas. Maybe even if you have new ideas, you can share with me in this regard. So you remember this is a draft. Maybe you find some mistakes, so please don't be harsh when you criticize me. So we'll start first. What is academic writing? In this view, I would start by something new. I won't just give the direct definition. I would start saying it would be tempting to start with the plain definition of what academic writing is. Let me remove that, sorry. Academic writing is, after all, the gist behind crafting a definition would be to establish essential terminology that helps ensure clarity, conciseness, and specificity. This is usually why we would advance any definition. And you can tell by now that I just want to say, or the message here, that finding a very good or accurate definition of writing, of academic writing, is really problematic because you may find a definition, but it doesn't, in fact, grant you any kind of clarity or conciseness or any specificity. I go further saying that if the question of how is involved, steps, procedures, and methods need to be incorporated into a definition. If you have any definition that, in fact, you have the how question, you should find how you can do it. And if you go and try to find definition in writing, you would find it difficult. Maybe you will find what is it, but how to approach it, you don't find it. And that's why it's really difficult, in fact, to master. So, however, an extensive review of the literature hardly satisfies the need for a comprehensive understanding of the subject. And this is my main idea. You can tell that this is the thesis statement. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I usually don't go with that way. I just take myself from one idea to another idea. This is how I do it. Now, aligning with French 2022, page 13, so I've put in a quote here. Academic writing is just what? It's just notoriously difficult to define. And I really like this quotation. Sometimes my students ask me, should I use quotation? I said, like, I sometimes just like to use these specific words that really supports my claim. So, quoting further, institutional practice of mystery, and really like this phrase because this is something so obvious when it comes to academic writing. It's just mysterious. So, we continue the mystery and the lack of clarity surrounding the simple question of what is clearly reflected on the confusion among students and scholars. And this is why we all have these problems. All we suffer from the idea of what is academic writing. Now, such complexity here encourages what? The adaptation of a focused perspective. So what I'm advancing here, what I'm proposing here, that we recognize that the straightforward nature of academic writing as a practice, because at the end it's a practice because you do something, is what? Is that yields, after all, a written text. So at the end, whatever it is, or why it's a problem, why it's difficult, it's just a practice that yields a text that has certain attribution. So that text is characterized by certain features, attribution, that deem it academic. This is my way of thinking, but although it seems like really simple way of thinking, it's also kind of problematic. So it takes me to the second idea in my paragraph, and I can see these paragraphs are really lengthy because I'm not sure about the project. This can be just free writing. Now, the idea of looking at academic writing as a result bears similarities to David Gudgeon's paragraph first approach to the teaching of academic writing. Now you can see the latter sees the traditional way of teaching writing is heavily influenced by the grammar first doctrine. And indeed, if you read books concerning writing, you will find most of the time they speak about grammar, or paragraph, mechanics, etc., in which the sentence is considered the basic element of written discourse. And yes, this is something we do all the time. We think about the sentence, it's like the first element. Now, instead of drowning students in intricacies of sentence level grammar, now, the paragraph first approach, now this is something we should talk about. prioritizes organization. The focus should be on structural coherence within the paragraph that renders grammar a natural byproduct. So it's not the grammar that we should focus on, but ideas. So as well as the logic that binds paragraphs together to form an essay. Now, while such an approach is promising, of course, logic remains not straightforward to teach and learn even. Anything that involves talking about logic, something abstract, way of thinking, cognitive abilities, usually it's out of our reach, something difficult, and I will go to that in the next paragraph. So, both acquire, no, it's highly abstract, that's concerning logic, often rooted in personal experiences, and this is one problem when it comes to academic writing and logic in general, and intuition, and one link it to tacit knowledge. Those my students are those I teach knowledge, so this is something related to knowledge, to tacit knowledge. Both require certain level of cognitive abilities to conduct formal reasoning, construct arguments, identify flaws, and provide sound conclusion. And these elements I've just mentioned now constitute like really why writing an essay or writing in general is so difficult. So let's talk about how can we be successful in that. So for successful teaching of writing, there should be certain degree of transferability of all these elements I just said now, from teachers to students. So if we want our students to be better in writing, we need to teach them those. However, several reasons stand on the way of such knowledge transfer. Now, if I can criticize myself, I would say this, I don't like this paragraph. This sentence seems not very academic. Now, first, abstract knowledge is hard to articulate and often context dependent, where every topic or field of study has its techniques and writing style. This is also a major problem. The data also can vary according to teacher's background, thus there are individual differences. And this is why sometimes you write something, you take it to a teacher, that teacher is going to give you kind of a feedback. Maybe you see another teacher and you are going to hear another feedback. This is why. So the variability or this variability is responsible for the subjectivity of academic writing in particular in evaluation and in passing critical judgment on any piece of writing. Now, linguistic differences also can constitute a hindering factor in the teaching of writing. So every teacher who's now in charge of teaching writing will understand that. So syntactic element, choice of words, level of formality, employment of rhetoric devices are all variables that are hard to control and subject to individual differences. Maybe I should stop here. Let's continue the last paragraph because the last paragraph really conveys my idea. So unlike the aforementioned, the inherent systematically characterizing grammar, syntax, punctuation, others, all constitute well-defined framework of rules that are tangible and amenable to pedagogy. You see, my idea is that yes, like if you check the definition of writing, you'll find it has two parts, the academic part, no, sorry, very sorry, the cognitive part and the mechanic part. But the mechanic part is so easy to teach. And that's why it's amenable to pedagogy. So thereby, the latter grant an advantage utility to both students and educators. That's why when we start teaching writing, we teach you grammar, we teach you paragraph, mechanics. So the ease of teachability of the mechanics of writing perhaps is the reason why they make most of the talk in many books on the subject of academic writing. So this is why. This sentence, maybe there's something wrong with it, I'll try to fix it. I feel it's wrong. However, such disproportionate concentration contributes to the idea that academic writing is deceptively simple. And this is why we suffer. It seems simple, but it's not. One can be easily misled to the idea that proficiency in writing is effortlessly attained by extensive reading of such books. A notion so many come to realize is challenging to achieve in practice. This is a starting of a project. I don't know. I'm writing about it because for students who follow me in my Facebook or my YouTube, they know I'm really interested in writing. And one of the things I'm really interested in, why writing is so difficult, especially for us non-native speakers. Why do we suffer? Why it's so difficult to write a very good essay? And one of my objectives is to make my students really, really write good essays. And I want to find easy ways. So this can be a project. Maybe I'm going to expand it more. And please, and this is a very serious topic, and I want your ideas, your comments on it. Please share with me everything. So I don't know, I know the video is a bit strange, but thank you. If you have reached so far, please subscribe. Please share this with your friends. So goodbye.